Recording.
20 bucks. 20 bucks. From the line for 20 bucks. Cake and bacon. Hi everybody. Hi Jabbar. Maggie, Mrs. Calabash, come into my kitchen. Today I'm making something which I must confess I've not made since 1964. It's a Canadian white Christmas cake. It's handwritten in my book, and when I was home economist for the gas board in England, we each had to make a Christmas cake, and then we decorated it and it was given to charity, and there were 6 of us. And this year this particular year I made this Canadian white Christmas cake, and it had I covered it in marzipan and then fondant icing. I can remember it well because in those days you couldn't buy fondant icing already made, and we had to make it from scratch. And it is quite the job to make fondant icing from scratch. And so it's a little bit different. It's not a heavy fruit cake. There's a lot of fruit in it, but it's not got sultanas and raisins in. And I've lined a cake tin ready. I'm going to put that over there, and it will take about 2.5 to 3 hours to cook. And in this we've got candied peel. It's quite Christmassy, the candied peel that I could find in the store. That is crystallized pineapple, glacé pineapple. I did just rinse off the sugar. We don't want extra sugar in the cake mix. And this is what we call stem ginger. And I kept asking the stores, have you got stem ginger? No. I thought, well, you must have stem ginger. And then somebody said, is it ginger in syrup? And that's what it's called over in North America. And I rinsed all the sugar off and dried it just so that we don't have the extra sugar. But what I'm going to do, and we've got some walnuts, chopped walnuts. So what I'm going to do, in here we've got the flour and the baking powder, which I've just whisked together. I'm going to add all the fruit to this, and then the fruit gets covered in the flour. Should there be any moisture there, it will be all taken away, and it means that the fruit is added evenly. So the glacé pineapple, the mixed peel, just rinse it, put it round like this, and the walnuts. And you can see I just chopped the walnuts fairly finely. You could use pecan, or you could use chopped almonds. That's it. The prep for this takes longer than the making, but that's usually the case. So anyway, we've got everything together. I just started to beat the eggs and the sugar, and it's not a light fluffy cake, so don't worry about beating and beating and beating, just to make sure everything's incorporated. We've got 4 eggs. Have these at room temperature, and we're going to add a little egg at a time. Now you can see how that's been incorporated. Sometimes if you add too much egg, it will curdle a little bit. Don't worry, just add a little bit of flour mix and mix it all in together. A little more egg. and the last of the egg. Okay. Just knock any surplus off. We'll get rid of that. Put it over there. And now it's time to add the flour and the fruit. So we want to just add a little, and you see I'm stirring round across, and just, it's called folding in, because you're turning your spoon over. Now this was an English recipe, and I'm just wondering if I might have to add a little more egg, because as I said before, the English flours are a little bit softer than the North American flour. So we'll see. We can always add a drop of milk or a drop of water or a little more egg. We don't want it to be too dry. That is going to need a little more egg. So I've got an extra egg here, just in case. And it depends on the size of your eggs as well. Let's just beat that up. I'd use this fork for whisking the other eggs. That's all I need. It was in a bowl. I'm going to add a drop more. That looks better. So I will alter the recipe before we put it up online. You don't want to overmix. Some flour. Let's get rid of the flour. There we are. Christmas. There. Make sure all the egg is incorporated, and this is where we make a wish when we're doing the Christmas cakes. I wish a farmer's dish, and close your eyes and make a wish. There we are. Derek, are you going to come and make a wish?
Yep. I wish a farmer's dish.
I wish a farmer's dish. I don't know why we say that, but we always do.
Right. I wish a farmer's dish.
Close your eyes and make a wish. I dread to think what he's wishing for.
There, I didn't stir much, but
You don't have to
got a
stir
wish
much.
anyway.
You don't have to stir much as long as you made the wish.
All right.
Now I'm making a round cake today. You can make square. You could divide this into two cake, small cake tins. So I've got a nice, and this is where I make a mess on my apron. One of my first public demonstrations on my own, I used to take my glasses off so I couldn't see people, because believe it or not, I'm extremely shy. You wouldn't think it. And I was fine as long as I couldn't see the audience. And it was this time of the year we were making Christmas puddings. And so, of course, I got it here. And when I took it down, I'd got a big brown mark right across there where the pudding mixture had had come on me. And anyway, the audience went, put my glasses on, and standing in the back of the room was our managing director, our area manager, and the principal home service advisor. And there I am with a big mark across my apron. And they said, it's fine. I thought, oh God, that was my first public demonstration on my own. We were trained, but then we had to do at least 6 months training under supervision before you were allowed let loose onto the public. So a spatula, like that. This is where your hands get a little bit messy. Let's get rid of this in the sink. And so we don't want any air in between the cake tin and the cake. So we just push it down gently right into the corners like that. Smooth the top. And we want it to cook as flat as possible so that if we're going to ice it, we've got a nice flat surface. So the trick is, it will rise just a little bit. The trick is just to make a slight indentation in the center, like that. And then should the cake rise, it's going to be flat. And that is all there is to making the white Canadian Christmas cake. I'm going to switch the oven on. What should I put my oven at? I'm going to put it on about 325. 325, that's 170 Celsius. And as I say, it's going to take about 2.5 to 3 hours. If you find it's getting too brown on the top, then cover it with parchment paper for the last hour or so. And we'll test it with a skewer to make sure that it's actually cooked through. We'll put a skewer in. If it comes out clean, and then it's cooked. And then we can leave it in the cake tin, or we can turn it out. I'll wrap it in aluminum foil and add a little rum or brandy to the bottom so that it gets nicely percolated for Christmas. And I'm not going to decorate it. I can't eat the icing. This is pushing it over the limit. So I'm not going to put marzipan on or the fondant, but you can put the marzipan and fondant on, and that keeps the cake nice and moist. So I'm just going to put the oven on, and we're going to let this sit, and when my oven reaches temperature, then join me and we'll put the cake in the oven as soon as it's reached temperature. So bye.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, it's smelling. And it's smelling good. It's taken just over 2 hours actually, so let's just have a look. I did put a piece of parchment paper over the top. I'm going to switch the oven off. Let's see if it's cooked. It looks cooked. I've got a... Yes. That's come out absolutely clear. So this is cooked. So let's have a look at it. Look, it looks gorgeous. So it's a spring-loaded cake tin. So the easiest way, I would normally let this cool, but I want to show you what it looks like. Let's put that down there. Mine cooked a little bit quicker because it's not quite so deep. I said an 8-inch, that's roughly a 10-inch cake tin. So let's just turn turn it over like that. Now the best way to peel this is in a piece like that. You don't want to tear anything away. You can actually leave it in the parchment paper and it will keep it moist. Easier to turn it over like that. And we'll let that cool. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little spirit on the bottom and let it mature. And that is our Canadian white Christmas cake. So happy Christmas. Don't forget mrscalabashcooks.com. Go to Mrs. Calabash Cooks website. The recipes are up there. Tips are up there. 7:30 on a Tuesday evening is our live chat show with guests, and 2 p.m. on a Friday is our cooking class. So come and join us. So come and join Mrs. Calabash Cooks. Let's have some music. Let's say goodbye.